party.
How are you?
Why I like the new party? Number one, it's a group of people that's on a panel. We all have differences, but we all basically still come together at the end of the day. The new party for me is about unity. The new party for me is about educating people to the truth, letting people know what's been going on in our country. With that being said, shout out to the new party, man. We're going to keep it going with y'all.
Welcome to the new party. I'm Nora Christine.
I'm Gray Mars.
I'm Mia.
Angela here.
Jay Herm.
Enzo Nuccio.
And Danny D.
And we have some special guests. We have Angela and Danny in the house, as well as our new party team. At the end, we'll talk about where we can find them at. So we really, really appreciate them for coming. But we have a jam-packed night for everyone. I don't know if you've been living under a rock, but the Breakfast Club is falling apart. Starting with Jess Hilarious airing out all their dirty laundry on her live that she did. That was the follow-up to the live. Supposedly they fired her on her day off. I can tell you working in a team setting is hard, honey. And sometimes there be some attitude, especially when you're a woman and a woman of color. So I can relate to her. So we're going to kick it off tonight with the first question. Should you air out any problems you have in the workplace to the public? Jay, I'll let you go first.
You know, I've always been against any airing out on social media because you're going to get, no matter what, unless it's like something really bad and something unforgivable, like, you know, like an essay or something, you're going to get over it and you're going to work it out and you're going to want these people to be nice to you again, whether it's work or personal or relationship wise. I never got that people instantly go to like social media to vent. So I just think it's a bad idea in general because that's never gonna go away. Like someone's gonna record it, someone's gonna screenshot it, and once you press send, that is there. So I just never got that whole venting on social media about your private life or personal life or professional life. It just never made sense to me because you're gonna regret it. And I think it's gonna come back.
Oh, sorry.
I think it's definitely gonna come back because I think she's gonna want that job back.
Angela, you got a nice following on TikTok. Do you ever air any of your personal stuff on there? I haven't really gone through your stuff too much.
No, not typically. I don't. But I think it's mostly just because, you know, you're under such a microscope on there. You don't really have freedom of speech. So I kind of have to, you know, walk the line a little bit. I feel like when you air out your stuff on, you know, social media or whatever, it's kind of a younger thing to do.
You would think so, but
when you get,
it's not.
Yeah, I see.
There's people in their 50s and 60s right now on Facebook telling all the tea.
Oh, I know, and I love reading it. Don't get me wrong, I love to read it, but no, that ain't me. Not no more. I probably did it when I was younger. Probably guilty, but no, probably shouldn't air it out unless you plan on to keep on walking.
Yeah, that part.
Well, I couldn't believe she showed up the next day. And the other clip I have to show you, I mean, it gets even better. I just couldn't believe she showed up. Gray, what's your thoughts on the Breakfast Club beef? You think Angela Yee is now vindicated?
I was having flashbacks watching that. So being on a podcast, I know how people can be, and you know, people are opinionated, so they might talk for a long time, and another person feel like, oh, I didn't get to talk. As far as Angela Yee being vindicated, I don't think what's happening on there being chaos. She should be happy about it, feel like she left. It's just typical people feel like they're the star.
Sure.
Danny, do you watch The Breakfast Club? Are you a fan?
I've seen episodes. I'm not a fan. But I will say, kind of what, touching a little bit more on what Gray was saying there, ego gets into the way. We have sort of like attitude. I'm not going to say we because I don't have it. People have this sort of attitude where like they can do and say whatever they do when they get to a certain status. And in my house, we have what's called kitchen table talk. And so with kitchen table talk, this is what we're talking about at the table. We don't take all of that stuff out and air it in public because it is going to get out in some sort of form, in some sort of fashion, and the internet lives forever.
True story.
Enzo, you watch The Breakfast Club? No, you're in New
No.
York.
Yeah, no. I
No.
haven't been.
She said,
Oh, no. Enzo.
Sorry.
I mean, I haven't really watched much. Like, I just like watch the clips and everything, like the funny clips that happen. That's about it. So, but
Mia, you watch The Breakfast Club? What's your thoughts?
I have seen quite a few episodes of The Breakfast Club. I watch it purely for entertainment because it is incredibly entertaining. I think most of the time they're ridiculous. I think they purposely pit women against each other for views. I think they purposely say things for views and engagement because, you know, the more people that watch their show, YouTube, wherever, TikTok clips, all of that stuff gets each and every single one of them paid. So it literally pays to cause controversy. And I mean, nobody should be airing out their dirty laundry because at the simple fact of the matter is like people will always wish for your demise and wish for you to fail. So why would you give somebody that over you? I mean, I keep everything pretty tight-lipped. Nobody really knows about my family besides you guys, and that's because we talk on like a personal level. But nobody on TikTok knows about my family. I mean, when I was pregnant with my daughter, I didn't tell anybody till I was like 7 months pregnant. Is when I said something. I was like, I'm showing. Gotta say something now. You know, so people should really just keep a lot of their personal life and conflicts like that together because I can guarantee you nobody's going to want to hire Jess Hilarious now. Granted, like some of the stuff she said is very controversial, but she's going to have an incredibly hard time finding another podcast platform that's going to accept her. And then she has so much negative press right now for a lot of things, disparaging things she said about an innocent cancer patient, which does not look good. When you search up Jess Hilarious, the first thing you see is what she said about an innocent cancer patient. So, I mean, she's an idiot. She is point blank. She's an idiot because her views are going to fade in 5 minutes. And then, but that first Google search is going to be the disparaging thing she said about an innocent 13-year-old kid. That's going to live forever for her. She needs to make better choices.
Yeah. So what triggered her, I think, and we're about to play it now, is Corey Holcomb came pretty hard at her and he just dropped facts. We could watch it.
Breakfast Club.
She didn't got it.
Well, this is what happened at the Breakfast Club. She took that job. She got that job because I think she had a social media presence. I can't imagine why else.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah.
She got that job. And I always said she wasn't talented.
Been saying that for a while.
She got the job and got knocked up shortly afterwards. And the worst thing in the world happened. They brought in somebody who was talented.
Who they bring in?
Homegirl from she used to be on TMZ.
Yeah, she has experience with doing that. When she talks, her voice, I don't know her name.
Yeah.
The girl who is Lauren. That girl know what she doing. She knows how to fit in with Charlemagne and the other guy, DJ Envy. It's like it's seamless when she there.
Right.
It's the talent. The talent shows out. And then Jess Hilarious ain't even reading right. And now she had a job where all she had to do was deliver the news. She had a segment on The Breakfast Club. The other girl who has experience and talent at this job took her segment.
So I'm Team Jess Hilarious. I know y'all probably don't agree, but I'm going to explain why later. But based on that, I have to agree she's not good at reading the news. Mia, I know you said you watch it. How do you think she does at reading the news?
I mean, she definitely leaves a lot to be desired. However, I mean, I don't think she's terrible. Do I think there's room for improvement? Yes. And I feel like there is room for improvement. She clearly has not been, it's not like she's seasoned. She didn't come from TMZ, whether you believe TMZ is something big, but whenever you say TMZ, 99% of us under the age of 50 know exactly what you're talking about. So, I mean, she just needs a little bit of improvement. You know, she comes across a little rough on the edges, and her replacement is a little bit more polished, comes off slightly classier, and I think that could be problematic for Jess.
Mm-hmm. Angela, you got some tips for her?
Well, you know, I don't know if I don't know if I have tips per se. I was laughing as you were saying that because I'm thinking of my hometown when you're saying that, and I'm thinking of the people I grew up with, and sometimes it's just hard to escape what you are. Sometimes it's just better off just own your shit and acknowledge it and either work with it or move on.
Mm. That's great advice. You messed up. You can't read the news. Go get some Hooked on Phonics. Try to improve. Jay, you got some tips for her?
I've never seen her actually read the news, but I feel like it's one thing to be opinionated and have opinions, and another thing to have chemistry and delivery. And I think that's
True.
probably the biggest thing that people don't realize. Like, you can be opinionated and you can talk all you want, but if you don't have like the chemistry or delivery or some sort of likability, there's people I don't agree with, but they're likable, and that's like
Right.
such a powerful thing. And there's people that I completely agree with, but I don't like. So, I
Hmm.
think for like a likability and a charisma is very important, and that's what I'm assuming she's lacking.
I agree with that, Jay, because me and you don't agree on a lot of things, but I like you.
Thank you.
Uh, Danny, what's your thoughts? Do you have any tips for Jess Hilarious? Do you think Corey was right with what he said?
I mean, I know her from YouTube. So this is I started watching her on YouTube, and she was doing a lot of like clips of like little skits and things like that. I think what did not transfer over to her was her authenticity.
Mm,
And because I don't mind people utilizing where it is that they come from when they're speaking, but that
mhm.
didn't fully transfer over. She was trying to be something that she really wasn't, and trying to be a newscaster or someone who is producing news. Like, no, we want to see exactly who Jess Hilarious is delivering the news.
Mhm.
At this point.
Facts.
So that's your authenticity. Where you come from is going to allow people to like you or not like you, and what people think about you is none of your business. You just do what you do and who you are, 100%.
Um, Enzo, do you you're from the Northeast? I know she's from Philly. Like, what's your thoughts? Do you think that she's a little bit too like maybe she brought her home too much, or should she have been a little bit more professional? Because what Danny's saying and what the Angela said is true. It's like you bring your home too much. Like, there's no balance. And she's from Philly, not even from New York, and they're based out of New York.
Yeah, Philly and New York are completely two different places. Like the style of people and how everybody talks there is completely different. So yeah, I would say that kind of drop where you're coming from and adapt a little bit to where you are and who you're speaking to now. That'd be my only advice or any input on that because I really don't know much about her.
Gray, what's your thoughts? Do you think Jess can bounce back?
Yeah, of course she can bounce back, and maybe like the news isn't her strength. I mean, even on the new party, like we have two different shows. We got this political nights, and we have like hood nights. I mean, whatever you want to call it. We talk about other stuff.
This
In
is a hood night.
last minute. So
Yeah.
I mean, like it's who personality fits. That's why the new party has like 7 people because different people are good for different things because different people have different backgrounds, different experiences. So Jess Hilarious would probably do better in a comedic environment.
Right. Agree. So the
Okay.
last piece of this story that I really want to touch on, that why I'm Team Jess, is a lot of times We don't acknowledge the sacrifices that women and mothers make. And unfortunately, she had to leave to have a baby. So part of her argument, and I'm about to play it now, is she stepped away. When she left, she did not know that when was coming back, she was going to be replaced by this person who she allowed to come in her place. So we'll watch this clip and then we can give reactions to it. 1 second. So yeah, I definitely can empathize and sympathize. And like, I had a baby once. I went out. I applied for this position. I thought I was a shoo-in to get it. I busted my ass. I grinded. And it was like I was out on leave. And the day I was out on leave, they called me to tell me they gave the position to somebody else. And then I later found out it's because I was having a baby. And so I can relate. As women, there's never a good time to have a baby. So I have empathy for her. And the story changes differently when you hear these facts. And that's why I said I'm team Lauren. I'm gonna start with the ladies on the line. You don't have to agree with me, but you know, you can share your experiences. Mia, you kind of already did. Angela, what's your thoughts? I know you have a little one in the background.
Well, it's kind of bullshit. Like, no, you have a job and you go have a baby, you expect to have a job when you come back. Like, if men gave birth, would that really happen?
Never.
No.
It's just it's like a never ending ball that just keeps rolling. And people do it because they can get away with it. Is what I think, honestly.
Mia, you had this baby. You hit it until you were 7 months. Why did you hide it? And when you came back to work, was your experience? Because I'm sure you worked.
Yeah, still do. I mean, I have a lot of empathy for Jess because it sucks to apply, get a job, kind of get into the rhythm, have a baby, have to leave everything behind, and then have to try to come back from being like 24/7 mom, and then to try to come back and function as an employee and mom in tandem. It is not easy at all whatsoever. I think the problem that Jess is facing is she works for a group, she works for men. Like, that's the problem, is they don't quite understand that, and not in a disparaging way, but in a, she's looking for an emotional response that does not exist with the crowd that she's in. So I think they would have respected Jess more if she had taken her grievances not on air, exactly what she said, Lauren with the news, legal Lauren or whatever, off air, and approached them kind of as men would approach each other, go into the office, hey, we got to hash this out. This is my problems, because men are very like to the point. Everybody's shutting the lights off on me. So, I mean, sorry guys, everybody's shutting the lights off on me. So I think that's kind of her problem, is she just approached it wrong. I feel like they would have done exactly what Gray had suggested, maybe making a more of a niche for her somewhere else. But since she aired it out and she embarrassed them and embarrassed herself, they just fired her. And I think that was kind of her downfall, expecting a different reaction from a set of men.
Gray, what's your thoughts? Do you think of it differently now that you know these facts, or you still stand on she got to go?
The show must go on. The new party started with 3 people: me, Nora, D. White. D. White left, so the show had to keep going. Shout out D. White.
Okay, so if you work for Gray, don't get pregnant.
For real. You see that, y'all?
Do not.
Y'all remember this. If I have another baby, you already know I'm going to come back and be like, I'm not having no talking pots. I thought I was the host. Oh, sorry. We had to replace you.
You'll be in labor with a headset on.
That's true. That's true. Jay, what's your thoughts?
Even though like there is like protections for women having kids, I still don't think that they're actually protected. When my girlfriend got pregnant, they just stopped giving her shifts. They didn't even put her on maternity leave or anything. It's not till she even just suggested the word lawyer that they agreed to give her back pay. They literally just stopped scheduling her. She wasn't even going on maternity leave yet. They just stopped. So I just think there is like it's discrimination. It's discrimination that men can never relate to either. Because I do think it would be way different if men could get pregnant. I think they would sell A pills at 7-Eleven if men could get pregnant. There would be no controversy whatsoever. that's just a fact. It's only because women get pregnant do we have all these stigmas about pregnancy. That's my opinion.
Ding.
Oh man, Enzo, I feel like you want to say something. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say I agree with what Jay said actually. 100%. If guys can get pregnant, that 100% would be in 7-Eleven. No questions asked.
With a free Red Bull.
Yeah, exactly, with the free Red Bull.
Danny, do you have any experiences that you want to share? Obviously, you don't have kids. You're not a mom, obviously. But what's your thoughts on this, working wise, personal, whatever?
I just want to speak on the piece where, Charlotte was talking about, like the internet is pitting women against women. I don't really like that, where they were literally gaslighting her, in the room. And I'm sitting there going, you're talking about women on women and the internet doing this. You're literally doing this to Jess, Hilarious in the room right now. So that was a little bit awkward for me. And I've been in management before. And I've experienced this before where, females went on leave to have their baby, and we were very cautious about it, and very understanding about it, just because I'm going to say this. They didn't want her working there. That's the bottom line. They didn't like what she was doing. They didn't enjoy her in the environment. I'm assuming, I don't know, just working there. This was an excuse. Mm-hmm. This was a convenient excuse that happened for them to go, you know what? This is how we can get her out. Mm-hmm. This is exactly how we can get her out. Because there are ways of working around. She could have been pregnant that entire time and sat there with that baby, sitting on the air, delivering the news the entire time. Mia was saying, like 7 months pregnant. Like she could have done all of that. So they didn't want her there. That was their excuse for getting her out. I agree with everybody on the panel. If men could get pregnant, there would be a pill. None of this would not be a discussion at all.
It's true.
Like, at all.
So we're going to switch gears. So we went from women to now topic about Harry Sisson, another one. I'm just kidding. Harry Sisson, have y'all ever heard of him on the panel? Everyone raise their hands if you've heard of him.
Sadly, against my better judgment and will.
You just told me that.
If it wasn't for Harry and them, I wouldn't be doing what I do. So I'm happy I heard about it.
Yeah, you're gonna break that down. Enzo, tell me what the allegations are against him that you've heard of. Not touching on the one with the grooming stuff yet, because we'll touch on that one after. Tell me about the girls.
So what I heard was that there was one girl who came out after she seen the video of him and whatever girl he was with over the last 2 weeks. She came out, spoke about it. 3 others came out. She went on to a live with all 3 of them. Mm-hmm. They were talking about it. Confronted him about it. He was gaslighting them, calling them insane. You don't know what you're talking about. Tried to coerce one of them to cover up the entire story with the one girl, and then others came out after that.
So pretty much why this is important for the audience that may not know, Harry Sisson is very left-leaning, very left, very Democrat, and nothing's wrong with that. But my issue with him, and I'm going to play some clips, is he acts like he's a defender of women. He says he cares about women, and him talking to